All right, everyone, here we are for our King Cheetah class.
Cool.
And the plan for today is so I'll just go through my supply list really quickly. So this is Pastelmat, and it's called Maize, M-A-I-Z-E. And it's like a little, golden yellow kind of color. And then I've got on this kick about matting them on this mat board, black mat board that I bought. And so I've been doing that now with the last few pieces. And it's kind of like my new gold standard as far as drawing on them, because it makes the paper really, flat, sturdy. I don't have to worry about, like taping it down or something. And I just really like the feel. So that is what I'm going to do.
Jennifer, I have a first question for you about that color.
Yes.
I was just wondering why you chose that color instead of using, let's say, a light or a dark gray.
You can do a whole variety of different colors with this guy. I just chose him because this color is very close to like the mid tones, mid range of his fur.
Okay.
And I'm going to be kind of like sort of like carving him out of the paper a little bit. Trying to do that, where I just,
like 2 days in Broome.
I mean, because he has
was pet store. It's too much for me.
Yeah, I see that on yours. I understand that now. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, yeah, I just felt like the darkness from
Yeah.
and then I'm just going to sort of like pull out the darkness
Okay.
from him. Yeah, and then I haven't decided on a background situation, but I could definitely either just leave it or I don't know, play around with it, adding in some color. I mean, if I had my way, I probably would do, well, you probably guessed, like a magenta or hot pink or something in the background. I would probably do that. But anything, you think about, he's sort of like in the yellowish color family. So, anything blue, green would also be really pretty, or orange. You just want to make sure there's enough contrast there so that isn't swallowed up, into that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I get it.
Even like a red, like some sort of like a, either a cool, because these are really warm tones. So like a cool red would be really dramatic also. So it just depends on your effect, I guess, that you're going for. And then I had this app, and it's called the Notanizer. Notan. I think that's how you say that. And it's an app. It's very similar to the value study app. But this is kind of a cool way to look at your piece more in shapes rather than sort of like a variety or of values, right? So this kind of like breaks this, like his big black sections, like all these dark sections, right? It kind of gets really identified more as shapes. And I think it helps a lot with maybe like drawing it. If you can look at, this guy, like where all these dark now and the light parts they're like in more like blocks of shapes. And I think doing something like that, if you feel like the subject is a little bit complex, if you kind of drop it into this little app, I feel like that's really a nice way to look at it. Just another tool, right? For your
excuse me, Jennifer, I have a question. The note, is that Notan, N-O-T-A-N-I-Z-E-R?
Yeah.
Is that is that on your phone or on your computer?
Well, I just downloaded it from my phone under the app, the little app section.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's called the Notanizer.
Okay, thank you.
actually learned about that when I was in my workshop in Tuscany. One of the other participants, actually Natalie, who was with us before, it's her birthday, so that's why she's not with us today. But she uses it, and I looked at it and I really liked it. So I will use that from time
Yeah.
to time. So sometimes, and I mentioned this in the email about I couldn't get away from this picture, even though it doesn't have a lot of diversity in values or color. It was like this position. I just knew I had to do it. Like this perspective and the way that he looks, I just loved the flow and the way his back is arched. I just couldn't get my mind off of me having to draw this particular photo. So this is why I chose this photo, just because I just loved thinking about like, what is he seeing, off in the distance. And I just felt like the pastel would work really well with these little fuzzy tips on his back. We'll get to that. So that's why I did that. If you have something like this, or you're struggling with like, oh my gosh, this picture is great, but like the values aren't that great, the color's not that great. You can always, what I do is I'll find another picture of the
Oh, that's pretty.
same animal, which has better, identification with colors. So that kind of helped me sort of, I looked at not just this one, but a few other ones and tried to pull a, cheetah palette together. And so I'm going to have to try to make up a little bit from this picture using this guy. But, he's mostly just browns and yellows and oranges kind of, right? Oh, and the blacks, of course. But you can, and actually on this picture, you can really see these kind of racing stripes that go off of his back. And this identifying, it's a genetic mutation that comes from both parents. This is why these guys are called a king cheetah, because right behind this black tuft of hair are these racing, very they're very strong and bold, like racing stripes that go all the way over his rump.
Why aren't those racing stripes showing on the one that you selected?
Well, because I only have it to this far. Right.
Oh, so they would be down that way.
Yeah, because you
Okay.
can see like this little black tuft.
I see, yeah.
So it's this here, but then it's right back.
Yeah,
Not on a furry part of his body.
almost looks like a zebra in a way with a different, are all of them with a different pattern according to their,
Yeah, just like giraffes, zebra,
yeah.
all of those animals, there are no two patterns alike. But these
Interesting.
king cheetahs, you can see them. They're exceptionally rare. There are only, what did I say, like 50 left in the wild or something.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's horrible.
Yeah, because
That's tragic.
It is tragic.
fur and what have you. But anyways, so yeah, when there's a big movement, to try to save this species.
Yeah.
A lot of videos, they're on like a lot of these reserves to try to,
Where is its home? You know?
they are in Africa, I feel.
Yeah. I know the Egyptians made them pets. I don't know if they made the king one.
At least I know a lot of these reserves, because like in Africa, right, you have a lot of those.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it
Thank you.
Kenya that has a lot of cheetah? Is that, I'm not sure if that's,
What was that, Alice?
is it Kenya? that
Yeah,
has
right, exactly.
a
Yes,
lot of cheetah?
yes.
They're so beautiful.
They are.
They really are. I love these, this is also the iconic, right? The black, whatever, like the eyeliner that's kind of coming down out of the corners of their eye, like dripping.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's got makeup on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's, I know we have a lot of kind of pre-discussion on today, but anyways, I feel like it's really important. I mean, this is what I do anyways outside of this class. This is why, it's no joke. Art takes a while to put together. There's a lot of steps involved. And it's a really good idea to spend time, with your animal. This is why I do all this research ahead of time, watch videos to kind of get the idea of the movement and just their character. All of this kind of stuff I try to, put into my piece. So it just helps me understand the animal better. So these are just things that I do.
Yeah, when they run, they are really just the essence of power and grace.
Right. And they are built
Yeah.
and built.
Amazing. They're beautiful.
There is a ligament in their neck. I mean, this could be like a 2-day class just on cheetahs. But I also learned that they also are missing. They have there are a couple different really cool things. So animals who run and with their head facing forward and who are meant to hunt have there's a certain ligament or something in the back of their neck, which it doesn't let their head flop down when they're running. So pigs don't have that same ligament. You'll notice when they run, their heads are flopping and their ears and everything, their heads hang down.
Yeah.
But cheetahs and all of these kinds of animals, right? Their head is perched upright because that's why they're made. They're made like that, right? Because they're runners, they're hunters.
Yeah, so they can see what they're going for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're sight hunters too.
Yeah.
Exactly. But pigs are not meant to run fast like that. So, anyways, they also don't have this one, I think it's a ligament or something in their throat. They can't roar like lions. So they'll just purr really, it's like a very loud purring sound. So yeah, that's why you don't ever hear them going, "Wow." They just don't have that capability. I'm sorry, my elderly cat is trying to get in and I'm just gonna let her in really quick.
Speaking of cats, yes.
Come on. You wanna come in? Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. I'll let her upstairs really quickly, sorry. Yeah, speaking of cats, unfortunately, I'm not going to go off on this tangent too long, but she has this little bump on one of her hips, and I always know that's not a good thing, or it can not be a good thing. And so I took her to the doctor, and it's on her right upper hip, and she's diagnosed with this condition. It's called FIS. It's a feline injection site sarcoma, and it came from her rabies shot. And so it's basically it's a sarcoma, which is not going to end well. It's very aggressive, and it's just going to keep growing. And then the doctor said when it grows, it'll just grow to a certain point, and then it'll kind of burst. And then this is going to be a massive infection in her body, and she won't be able to sustain it.
Jennifer, can't they operate before that happens?
They can't, because the only way to remove it would be to remove her leg.
Oh.
They certainly could, but I'm not going to put her.
No.
She's 18. She does not need to be missing.
No, she needs to live as long as she can, and then, yeah.
Exactly. So we're just giving her treats all the time. Whatever she wants, she gets. I mean, she was like that anyways, but
Yeah.
it kills me because the front end of her is totally fine. And this thing is just really annoying to me.
That's sad.
That's very sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too. So anyhow, I'm gonna just do a really quick continuous line drawing. Not a lion drawing, but a line drawing. Just wanted to clarify that. Of this guy. Let's see, I'm gonna back this up just a touch.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I have to go, but I will.
Okay,
finish this whole thing on Saturday and
yeah,
have my they're ready by next week. Anyway, so it was good to see everybody.
Nice to
And
see you,
I'll see
Andy.
you all next week.
Okay,
you take,
Bye-bye.
have a good one.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, Andy.
Bye.
all right. So yeah, this is just in my sketchbook. I'm just gonna use, I mean, I just grabbed it. It could be anything. I'm just gonna use this ballpoint pen, just because that's what I have in my hand. And I'm just gonna start at the top of the head and just do really quick continuous line drawing. Actually, I'll go up a little bit higher. Sometimes it's good to lift your arm off. Now then, let's see, I'm gonna go back. So this. Just trying to look at like these sort of divisions in parts of his face or her face. Anatomy is pretty apparent here. Let's look a little bit. Actually, I want to go back to these, all these spots and markings are pretty helpful for us getting a perspective. Let's see. So that's the eye here. Mhm. Their noses, they're, oh my gosh, they're adorable. Like the straight on shots, they look just like a little heart.
It does. It looks exactly like a heart. The one I'm doing is as head on and it's this cute little black heart. I'm like, whoa.
So cute. Right? Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of, I'm just putting in lines as all the little spots because, you know, you could just do a line and then a little spot in between if you wanted to go through that. I'm just trying to do a really quick sketch here. Like this. And, you know, like these, a lot of these spots follow the contours, so it could be helpful. Kind of look at the spots and put them down in a certain way. But let's see. I think I'll just stop there.
Yeah.
So there it is. And then, you know, when you're done, if you notice something you want to fill in, you can do that really quick too. But you know, pretty much that was pretty fun. Now I'm like kind of warmed up for my piece. Let's see. No, I know I've mentioned this before with if you were thinking about drawing this guy, this is just a technique that I use sometimes. Actually, I hardly ever use it, but I think it's really good for students to know about it. Is this sort of like triangular grid instead of the like vertical, like the little box grid. I feel like this is a really nice way that's not so detailed. You don't have to put in as much work ahead of time. So, you know, the idea is to get your picture, you know, and cut it all the way around the frame of your photo. And then I made a line from each corner to the opposite corner. And then I just drew a line down the middle, vertically and horizontally. So this puts this like triangular grid on your photo. And then what you can do is on your surface, draw those same exact lines, even though the perspective on this is a little bit different than, because the shape of my, you know, my canvas is more it's a kind of a taller rectangle. But if you had something that was a little bit more similar, then you could draw these same lines in. And then the idea is to, you know, look at your line work here in between each of these sections of the pie and make your drawing in this way. So I know people who are like, especially people who are doing commissions and stuff, you want to be really specific and make sure you get that animal or whatever person that you're drawing in well. This is a nice kind of a more quick grid style of grid to add in.
Do that all the time. And I just put an X, you know, from one corner. And
Yeah,
it helps me a lot.
yeah. It's a nice way to really look at the, like kind of what I was just doing, you know, like the continuous line. I mean, basically I was doing the same thing, right? Looking at the contour and really paying attention to those lines. And it forces you to kind of get into that practice when you do grids like this every now and then. I'm going to just jump right in with, I thought I was going to use this. So I have these new pastels. These are these harder pastels that I've used before for sketching out specifically landscapes, and we've done it before. And I thought I would use it today to make the initial outline. But I'm not sure if this is going to show up on this. I think I did actually, I think that might be okay. All right. I'm just going to start by doing basically what I just did, but I'm gonna be using the pastel because it's gonna get, what is that, absorbed into the pastel. And I'm just looking at, so it's like looking at this, like this is it's kind of a little bit confusing about like where his ears are here, but like this is this is his ear, right here on this side, and then that's just his ear on the other side. And this is his mane in between. So yeah.
So that isn't the back of one of the ears then in the forward part?
Well,
The
just
colors are sort of similar pattern.
this little section here, let me see if I can. This little section here, I think is his ear. I can kind of see where his mane is right here.
Okay, cool.
And if you took a line, like your pencil line, like the tips of the ears sit on that same axis.
I'm looking at the forward ear. I mean the one that's closer to the
Yep.
bottom.
Yeah, so this is actually right here. Yeah. This thing
Yeah,
here.
okay, the part that's black up by the apex,
Yeah,
that's the back of the ear?
I think it is.
Okay, good.
I'm
'Cause
thinking,
it kind of looked like that to me. I'm not too sure just how I'm going to make it look like that, but
no, because it's really close to his mane, right? It's really the same exact color as that mane. So it's, yeah, that's pretty challenging little spot there. So since we're talking about it, we'll put that down. Yes, we'll have to be pretty artistic with with that section. Not to be more suggestive. Let's see. Probably should have started him a little bit lower.
So you're gonna go over in the black, when we get to the black stuff, that's gonna go over this soft pastel.
Yes, this is my yeah, I'm trying to be careful because I want to make sure I get this stuff in. Yeah, it's like he has this like black part on the back side. That's weird. Okay. So let's see. That. And then just have him maybe fading out to the bottom. And then I'm gonna kind of, I can see where his shoulder is here. Trying to get that in. All of the things in that I want in. Okay, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. Then I'm gonna just start blocking in the colors with a PanPastel. And I'm just gonna use a rounded one. Oh, this thing is about ready to come off. So I'm going to put a new one. Want that thing from them. Okay. So I'm going to kind of start with a little bit more of a mid-rangey, because I want to be able to kind of go back and forth between light and dark. I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time with the PanPastel, but that's mostly just the blocking in, and then I'm going to go on top with colored pencil. Really quickly, I'm just going to show you, I did the same procedure on this canna lily, what I'm doing. This is a combination of PanPastel initially and
Yes.
color pencil.
It really looks good on that background, Jennifer.
That's,
right.
yeah, wow, that's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
Wow.
really
Wow.
lovely.
Thank you. Yeah, and just a little note for you guys, you can go kind of back and forth between color pencil and PanPastel. Like you can actually add PanPastel over the color pencil, just as long as it's not like that much, because actually what I did here was I did initially layer of PanPastel just on the leaves, and then I went over it with some color pencil, but then like the shading part was so easy to get in with PanPastel. So then I just used PanPastel over the color pencil to get some of this real soft shaded look on the leaves. And it was like, oh, that took me about 5 minutes. So that was really helpful because the whole rest of it has been, I've been working on that thing for days.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you. Okay, let us play. Let us play. I'm going to say that. I'm going to grab some, and I have this other little white piece of paper next to me because I might kind of create, let's see, this is, what is it? This is that diary light yellow shade. And I might add in a little bit of this diary light yellow tint. Of course, these are the two names that are really hard for me to say. I'm going to bring in a little more of that darker color. And I'm just going to go through. This guy is going to be really helpful to kind of like squint the eyes and see where these shades are, colors are. That's only if you're using this photo. Like I was saying, this is a pretty challenging photo. I won't do that to you guys next time. But I really just couldn't shake the position of this guy. Because I also don't do a lot of like profile, you know, animal drawing. So I also like that too.
Anything that's furry with patterns like this, I think is pretty challenging, you know, it's.
Yeah. And yeah. Well, and I didn't draw those spots in initially because I just wanted to be more organic and not so like planned out.
Uh-huh.
So my plan is to kind of like block in all of the initial like fur color, and then I'll go in with black and just sort of organically kind of put in my own patterning there. Because as we already know, each of these guys has their own different, patterning, right? They're not all the same.
Wild.
So that'll help us. And then I can always look at this little notinizer guy. So that's darker. This is actually a little bit lighter. Here. That is nice. Mm-hmm. We'll bring in a little bit of orange extra dark, and I'm going to mix in to that diary light. Oh my, mixture. And that's a good way to kind of harmonize your colors too. Just bring in your next mixes. Mix it into the palette that you already have going. It just kind of helps unify everything. Let's see. I'm gonna kind of smooth out all of this too. Or some of it. And like I said before, I want this paper to kind of help support this, the lighter colors. Oh, I think I mentioned in my email too about this. It's called Cretacolor. Chalk pastel. It's pretty soft actually. I don't know, Alice, do you know this brand of
Yes, I like it very much, actually.
stone pencils? Okay.
Yeah, it's useful for certain things, just like so many, great for some things and
Mhm.
not others. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I do have a bunch of those.
Okay. Yeah, there's I had heard about that brand before, but I was like, I already have however many. Do I really need to go there? Usually that answer is yes.
Yes, unfortunately, it usually is yes, because it's great for certain things. And I don't remember right now, but I know that is my attitude toward it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna need a Cretacolor for that. So anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it is with art supplies, isn't it? It's just,
Yeah. Well, and this guy who I was like, just like watching some video, and he likes certain colors of the Cretacolor.
yeah.
So he said the black was really nice,
Uh-huh.
nice and dark. So I know the PanPastel is actually really nice too. I feel like that's fine with the black, because this is always our struggle is like, we want the whitest white and the blackest black,
Yes.
trying to find those colors. It's like, that's the artist's struggle or journey always. Let's see, that's
True in paint too, although I am enjoying mixing my own.
yeah. I love making my own black,
Yeah,
especially with paints and stuff. It's really nice.
depending on what it's going with, and I add some dark red and that always deepens it. And I don't know, it's just fascinating to me, the whole.
Yeah, and with color pencil, you can get a really nice dark black too. Just the effort there is kind of, well, lengthy.
Well, that's life, isn't it?
You're not doing anything else. I highly recommend playing around with that because it's pretty cool. Actually, I showed the kids that I teach art to last session, like they had never heard of making your own black.
Wow, neat.
It was like this little magic wand that I waved or something. Showed them how to make it. I'm like, because for whatever reason we were low on the black. We had some, but I was like, look, you guys can make your own black. You don't need that black. Let's just make our own. And mind's blown.
Yeah, that's a powerful, it's, how to have power on your own, and less reliant on what's already there and just go, I'll just make it. Yeah. That's really neat that you taught them that.
That's like, when you're in the kitchen too, like,
Yes.
well, look, we don't have to buy this. We can just make it.
Right. Or I'm missing this, and this. So what? I'll just use.
Right.
Josh is always like, what are you doing? That's not in the recipe. And I'm like, guess what? I don't care.
Yeah.
This is off topic, but just in case any of you decide to go out looking for paint palettes, and they charge a ridiculous amount of money for these crappy plastic things in art stores. I went to Goodwill and found this like Easter egg porcelain dish.
Oh, yeah,
Has
totally.
like 15 different, sort of half egg shape things in it. And that's what I've been using. And it cost me like $2. And it's porcelain and it'll last forever. And just by the way, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen
Need
the
a palette, go to Goodwill and skip
good
all
one,
the.
right. Remember, Marjorie, how I told you that's where I got.
Oh, and that's what I did. you know, I just went to different Goodwills and I found that and oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah,
But I've always done that. I've always given to Goodwill and I mean, I don't know, it's just a great store.
Yeah, it is.
I
totally.
have a friend in my other art class whose daughter is in charge of, it's not Goodwill, but it's one of those thrift stores. And so she told her mother, well, if you need any frames, we've got all kinds of great frames. So Tracy went to the store and went home with just an armload of frames. And
Oh.
they're really nice. They're really nice.
Yeah. Well,
And they're cheap, really cheap.
yeah, people get rid of stuff and it's really, you know, it's great reuse and cheap and blah, blah.
And convenient.
Yeah, and the whole new, you know, you gotta have a new thing and whatever, why, you know, we're just tripped out about new, you know.
I think it's real important to keep recycling things.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it's also fun. It's like a little treasure hunt.
It is. Yes. It
Yes,
is
I
a
agree.
lot of fun.
I really just get off on it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you never know what you're gonna find also. 'Cause
That's
it's
right.
always different and you just never know and, you know,
And every Goodwill has different things too.
yep. And next week they'll have different things again and
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah. The depot for creative reuse is like that, and some store will close and unload a ton of brand new, you know, stamping ink pads. And boy, you can save yourself a whole lot of money.
Right?
Yeah. God, I gave myself quite a challenge here. Okay.
All right, so I just, you know, kind of just messed around here with some very chunky marks. While I mean, you know, you know me and the pastels, chunky stuff. Like I like it like that. But I'm gonna just push it down into the tooth of the paper a little bit so that I can go on top of it with some pencil. So this is this like paper stump thing. And I'm just gonna kind of gently, you know, like rub on this. It's a way to kind of soften the edges as well. But this way helps to kind of push it all into the tooth of the paper too. And then I'm going to put the black line or patterning in. You know what? I need to grab a piece of glassine before I do something. And you know, when you're doing this, either try to just do all the, you know, light parts first. Just make sure you clean off this little stump if you're using it in between, because it's really easy to contaminate your lights with the darks.
I usually have several for different color groups. or
Yeah. That's really
something, not to mess stuff up. I find.
I know I tried doing that and then I forgot and I used the light in the dark one and then I was like, oh well, there goes my plan.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I tend to use whatever's in my hand. I don't care what it is. If it's a popsicle stick, I'll use that, you know.
I mean, it's not that big a deal because it's still right on top, but
Got your battery charger thing?
Yeah.
Can I go share out that?
Well, I need to get up and move the stick.
and try to stay mindful of your, you know, your photo. And I'm still, you know, looking back and forth to make sure.
Does it feel
Right.
tight or
I'm doing something that I didn't. But like I said, this is well, it can be an opaque medium. So it's easy to just kind of go on top, especially if we're going to use the colored pencils, and we can just go right over it.
I'm probably gonna vanish for a few minutes in a
Okay.
shortly because my daughter's coming to pick some stuff up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just like with stuff with the black, you know, as we all know, how pastel is very messy and gets all over the place. I'm going to really try to make sure that my base layers are established well before I bring in that black pastel, because that is just going to go everywhere. And especially if I want to keep background pristine. I know that some people will take tracing paper and they'll lay it on top of their drawing. Then they will, you know, they'll cut the tracing paper around the outline, the contour line of the drawing. And then they'll just take out the, you know, the part where they need to work on so that the tracing paper is covering up the rest of the, you know, their surface so that there's less likelihood of it being contaminated. It's not that big a deal if you're thinking of adding in a background, then you wouldn't have to worry about that too much. All right, so let's see.
Oh,
We'll just bring back a little bit of the lighter stuff here. And you know, once you start with the next layers, then it's, you can smooth stuff out a little bit easier because now we have something to work with. And then you can really use these tools to just smooth it out. It's really hard to use it for the first layers. So that's why I usually have to use that other paper stump to kind of get that pushed in. Because otherwise, if you rub too much with these tools, you know, you could damage the tools. And then you can always use your, you know, our little notinizer here. Make sure I'm getting the brights in. So like above his eye. Oh, okay.
oh.
Okay.
I love those sounds. Those like just that is just such a human response to exhaustion. When I start putting the, you know, the black in, woohoo.
Watch out.
I know I say that, I've said that before, like, oh, you know, when the black, it's true though, like the black is just so strong and it's just, such an important part. So important, especially with these guys. And tap off any excess. I'm probably just gonna do, let's see, his eye is. I can probably just put it in really gently with this tip of this guy.
Where it belongs.
Okay, good. I oiled my eyeballs and all this.
Okay.
Good.
Let's see. To finish his eye because I just can't. I won't be able to look at it like that. It looks like a robot or something. That's the screen. His nose. I'm just going to put a little bit of this around in there. So don't forget about his nose. All right. Just gonna pop in his eye because it just drives me crazy to look at that thing right now like that. So we grab a luminance pencil. Couple different. I want to build the layers. So I have a terracotta and a dark flesh. You know what? I first need to push that in. Because otherwise, if you don't push the pastel into the paper, you're just going to be, when you go on top with color pencil, you'll just be pushing the pastel around. And on that canna lily that I showed you before, I did use a little bit of I used some Gamsol in parts of it. I don't really ever use that stuff, but I wanted to kind of experiment with that. All right, I'm gonna pop in. I'm gonna try this Krita color. You know what? While I have this created color in my hand, I'm just gonna do his nose. I did try sharpening this with my little handheld device. Did not like it. It did not like it at all. So I have to, some of these really soft pastel pencils, you have to use an X-Acto knife to sharpen, and that's what I ended up having to do. But like the PanPastels, I can use my handheld. It's called a swordfish, I guess, sharpener, and it works fine.
What happened, Jennifer, what happened when you tried to sharpen the pastel pencil then?
This just, it started to crumble.
Oh, oh, shoots.
Yeah, it just was like, started to just fall apart and disintegrate right in front of me.
Oh,
So I was like, okay. Must be because it's just really, really soft. I think the Caran d'Ache pastel pencils are also really soft. You can't sharpen them like that. So, and you know, not a lot of people like to use that X-Acto knife because it's kind of tricky and it's kind of dangerous.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's time to play with the black. Now, if it makes you nervous to just swipe and have the PanPastel just, you know, sitting right there on your tool, and before, if you want, it's like for me, what I like to do is kind of just rub off a little bit on a piece of paper so that I'm sure I don't get like little, sometimes like the dust will ball up, you know, on your tool. And then when you go to put it down, it'll just kind of like splatter and spray sort of in a weird way across your paper. So sometimes I like to just rub it off initially. You can use the side of the tool to get a little bit thinner line. Right, let's see. Some of these spots are more brown too. Some of them are, some of the spots are a little bit, like deeper than some of the other spots. What I mean is like some spots are darker, the ones that are more on, superficial, more closer to the top. And then some of the other ones, I imagine, are just a little bit, more kind of tucked deeper into the fur. So those marks are going to seem, they're going to appear lighter, which with the pastel, you can do that really easily by just adjusting the touch. And then also you can go over it with like a lighter color if you're trying to, push those deeper. Does that make sense about the,
Yes.
what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yes.
Good. Now I can have fun putting in these patterns on his the side of his body. So fun. I just love how you can get this, like softness with the pastels. Gosh, it's just so. He almost has like he reminds me of a hyena.
I think you would take exception to that.
I know. I'll never tell.
No,
I'll never tell him that
no.
I think he looks like a hyena. That's just downright rude.
You know, when I work on these particular animals, especially the cat family, I wind up having a whole dialogue with them.
Yeah,
while I'm working on them.
an inner dialogue or
No, no, I'm actually talking about them.
oh.
Yeah, I get a little absorbed.
That's awesome. Sometimes I'll bounce around a little bit if I notice something that needs a little finessing back and forth, but okay, let's see. I'm gonna back this up back a little bit so we can see what we need to do. Needs. More. So now I kind of have, sort of like, I think my plan like is to just use my eye right now and just kind of go around, make sure I don't want to add anything or take away anything. I didn't forget something. And then this is where we can think about like if you wanted to add in marks with colored pencil. So let's see, I need a little bit of a ochre. Yeah. Mhm. And I mean, I'm just gonna like suggest some some finer hairs, but not go too crazy. My kneaded eraser is really helpful to lift. You can also put down stuff that you don't want there too, so you have to be careful. I'm gonna grab a black colored pencil. The color pencil can be really useful for defining edges or, making little like mark making. You can go inside the black spots if you want. Just to add a little, like deepen the color there. You can just get different marks with the colored pencil. They'll put down a little bit lighter marks too. And then like I'm just calling it his mane because that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like the colored pencil is really helpful for getting those like little wispies. That mark sounds like a hyena, actually.
Well, I'm going to have to go, Jennifer. Thank you for the class.
You're very welcome.
Beautiful,
Thank
as
you.
usual. And I'll see everybody next week.
Okay, good. Take
Good,
care. Have a
bye.
good weekend.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. That sound is pretty funny. It sounds like a color pencil squeaky sound.
That's right.
Okay. That's what it is. You don't have a hyena in your kitchen.
No.
Hmm. Let's see, how's everyone? How's everyone doing? We're okay? Let's see. And you can add, just like with regular soft pastels, with PanPastel, you can add rubbing alcohol and water to make it, painterly if you want.
Oh, boy.
One is I put that line a little bit. Well, I guess it's okay. I was just thinking this line behind his front ear is a little bit angled, or it could have been more straight. But I could actually. I know what I can do. If that's bothering me. Just turn down that black. Once the black is there, it's really hard to go over it. Unless it's like a darker color, but like to go on top of a lighter color. I mean, you can to a point. We've got orange color, can break up some of this yellow. Weave in some of this orange in the tips of his mane. Just so it's not such a solid black. Plus the light is kind of hitting the top there, so we're getting some sun reflection. Well, I have this really bright orange that I haven't used yet. Kind of just wanted to put it in.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
this is my little granddaughter.
Well, hello, little granddaughter.
This is Magnolia.
Oh,
Magnolia.
This is Jennifer and Alice and Marjorie.
Hello.
Hi.
I love your headband, honey.
yeah, it's so cute.
Hey, can you say hi, Magnolia?
Hi.
Hi.
She just moved from Bogota, Colombia.
And I'm speaking English and Spanish.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
good
Oh,
for
wow.
you. And you just tell him you turned how old yesterday? How old did you turn yesterday?
Like 4.
4. Yeah,
Four.
4 years old.
Good job.
Yeah. And she likes your cheetah very much.
Oh, good.
And it
Oh,
looks just like the cheetah on top.
Well, thank you. Cheetahs are pretty cool animals, huh, Magnolia?
Yes,
I love her name.
And we're bringing this.
English.
English, right?
Yeah,
English, yeah, I don't speak Spanish. I just repeat what you say. So don't start talking Spanish now to me because I will not be able to understand.
Oh, you say bye-bye? Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Adios. Adios, mi amiga. How cute is she? Oh my gosh, kids. They are just too cute.
okay, let's go.
I'm gonna put a little bit of this orange, I think, in his eye. Oh, yeah, that's exactly. Oh, yeah, baby. That just brightened up his eye. You probably can't see it that much, but anyways, it's kind of fun. I think he's looking pretty cute, actually.
Yeah.
Now I need to figure out what I want to do. So the bottom here, I kind of had this idea of him sort of like fading out this lower right hand corner. So I think what I might do is grab one of those big chunky sponges. You know what I mean? And just kind of like, whoosh. You know, that's a very technical term, that whoosh. I'll add in a few colors here before I do that. Before I do that very technical thing. Of course, see other things I want to do. I'm gonna add a little white. No, there's a slight highlight. in the eye. Okay, that's good. And then on the nose, just a little. Highlight there. Now I know that I haven't put his whiskers in yet because I am still considering what I'm going to do for the background. So I will do the whiskers at the very end so that I'm sure that it goes over that. Now, with that being said, I just noticed I forgot to fill this in on this under his ear. Okay. All right, let me grab one of those big sponges and try to kind of pull down the one side, the lower right hand corner. And make sure that when you do something like that, that you clean off your sponge. Right. Mhm. Mm. I mean, with something like this, it could be cool to, I don't know, this could become a really involved piece really quickly, like depending on if you wanted to put in a, you know, African scene or something in the background, you could easily do that. Or, you know, if you just want to leave it. It just depends, I guess, on your focal point, right? Like, you know, do you want it to be more about the animal? If you do, then yeah, then I would try to choose something that's not going to be busy, right? It could be kind of fun to put a like a stencil in the background. I don't know, you guys, there's so many options. I kind of like though how this background is, you know, pushing him forward though. Because it's so, you know, like light. And my favorite thing to choose if I'm kind of struggling with, you know, what do I want to do, is like paint splatter. Like that's always a win. Right? Get your paint out and just do some splatter. What are you doing, Linda? Are you doing?
I'm doing a mess. You know, I mean, pastels just aren't my strong point. I still, you know, I keep saying, you know, I want to be more free, looser, but I can't do it.
Yeah, you know,
My tight little brain just doesn't work that way.
your inner self, right? And just Yeah, exactly. It is definitely not for everyone. That's why there are so many different art mediums out there.
Yes, yes. Well, and I mean, there are moments when we've done some things, they're, like the landscapes with the soft pastels.
Right.
And not that I thought my finished product was all that wonderful, but I probably enjoyed it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I do like using the pan pastels as, backgrounds.
Yes, that's good stuff.
Very useful.
Yeah, totally. And it works pretty well with color pencil. It just I've sometimes it's helpful to use this fixative, in between layers also. That Spectrafix fixative. That kind of helps to build up the layers. Yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky business.
Yeah, it is. Oh, gosh. I hadn't looked at the clock.
Yeah, I know. It's a problem. Yeah, and I'm just using this like new pastel. These are really good too for adding in little chunks too. Yeah, I can get my pastel feel too, because I just love using the side of the pastels. So much fun. Yeah, the background could be cool, like using something that's more like vertical or horizontal, because we have so many like round and soft shapes. Like that could be a good way to think about it. Doing something contrasting. I don't know. I'm not quite there yet. So I think that's a good indicator to me that I need to just stop before I do something that I'm going to regret. Maybe take a look at it tomorrow and see how I'm feeling. Marjorie, are you doing that little cub?
Not right now.
Okay.
I'm working on the last assignment.
Okay. All good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where did Alice go? I know she's helping her daughter or something. I'm just thinking of, I have this like really cool tiger stripe stencil. It could be kind of cool to put in a different animal's pattern, like into the background. I might do that. Or I might not. But at the end, it's basically where I am right now. I'm just taking a look and seeing if there's are there any lights that I think need to be lighter? Any, darks need to be darker. Just trying to just take one last sort of final look here. He's pretty good. Bless you.
Oh, my throat is scratchy.
Oh no.
Well, I think it's just stuff in the air or whatever.
Okay, that's okay. I threw in few little dots here just to kind of break up all of those bigger spots. So it's always fun to kind of, add in different sized shapes. I don't know. I think that's all that I have.
Well, it's
I
lovely.
want to just say, I think, I have to listen to the inner artist every now and then where, I need to just chill and not keep going. So let's see, any questions before we bid adieu? I'm not hearing any. I think everyone is just very, very busy into their own, doing their assignment, doing their work, which is awesome. Right? It's good to be like so connected and just on something. Alrighty, well, I think I'm gonna stop recording. Well, after all that time of me kind of figuring out what I was going to do with the background, I decided to kind of leave it for a little bit. I thought I was going to leave it for like a day or so, but I was kind of scrolling through some sites on Facebook, just because I always get sent all these like animal, nature sites, and I saw this picture of a beautiful, it was actually a leopard, but the background was like this so gorgeous, like magenta, violet with some blue background. It was a little bit darker than what I have here, but it completely inspired me to try to put in a background using similar colors. So I just wanted to show you guys how I finished up the cheetah since you guys have joined the class. So this is, I just went and grabbed 3 PanPastel colors, and this is Payne's Gray Extra Dark. This is Magenta Shade, and this other one is Magenta Extra Dark. And I just took this oval-shaped sponge and I dipped it in, actually, to all 3 of them, and then on a separate piece of paper, I just mixed them together. You can just use like copy paper, and I just blended it so that I could get this kind of mixture of the 3. And then I just took these sponges, and I can just show you really quick actually right now. If you can mix any colors together, and I just went like that, and you know what I mean, went through. I'll just kind of darken up the edges here. Now, normally I try to like avoid a like a halo effect, meaning you can kind of see like where the edge is of the background color, but I like how it's giving him kind of like this glow, it's this sort of like really nice sort of angelic glow, and so I just thought I would leave it. But so you can make that a little bit more apparent by darkening the edging around him a little bit more, and then just leave like a little a little perimeter around the contour of him, in just leaving that golden color. You can even extend it more by grabbing some more of that golden color, and then just sort of like reinforcing what was already there. But anyways, that's how I finished this lovely cheetah, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson on how to draw or paint a king cheetah using PanPastels, a little bit of color pencil on toned Pastelmat. All right, take care. Bye-bye.